So, hello, group mates. My name is Michael Christopher L. Herolaga. I'm a BSEE student, and I'm here to introduce my value proposition about a product which can help mitigate the flooding, especially on the sewage systems here in the Philippines.
Hello, group mates. My name is Carl Encarnacion, and my product is mainly focused on the reduction of waste since my problem was about the wastes in the river. So I have come up with a product where it is much more advanced than the current um, waste management machines.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nathan Guerra, and my value proposition is about reinforcing the roads in the Philippines to treat the pothole problems and preventing accidents and ensuring safety for everyone.
Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Domer Pilapil, and my value proposition is that to make an app that uh, that will help students, especially high school, college, university students, and also graduate students to in their like problem in procrastination.
Hi, I'm Angelica, and my product is about an application that can help to lessen the or can help to solve the problem regarding the limited access to medical health services, especially during these times na may pandemic.
So to start with my value proposition, since my product is all about mitigating the flooding issue here in the Philippines, it should be realized by now that the Philippines is one of the most affected countries, especially when it comes when typhoons hit in our country. So the primary target of customers for my product is Filipino residents. Among the residents I have shown in my paper, the Filipino residents um, has a great is exposed to a great number of rivers, lakes, and streams abound throughout the Philippines. As a result, scarcity of water has never been a serious issue here in the Philippines. However, the issue is attributable to the unequal distribution of rainfall required to replace water in rivers. So this resulted when the rivers are full from the rain because of continuous rain all throughout the day. It results to flooding here in the Philippines. Not only it is present in the squatters area, it is also present in some subdivisions located in the Philippines. So the customer pain points is would be mainly about the inability for the customers to understand the simple instruction of the product. So although the instruction is plainly simple of the product, it it could be a factor on where the customers would heavily rely on the product to stop their problem of flooding. This is a pain point because the product only mitigates the flooding problem, and the main factor of preventing heavy flooding still relies on the residents to do their part of segregating trash properly and maintaining the cleanliness of the sewage systems. So, if I were to describe the anticipated use case with solution, the product is focused mainly on mitigating the problem of flooding by using a unique organic formula that melts debris and plastics in sewage systems while keeping the ecosystem healthy and unharmed. So this product um, is plainly simple to use. You'll just pour it in the sewage systems and it does the work for you. It melts the debris and plastics, which unclogs the sewage systems here in the Philippines and mitigates the flooding problem here in your place or possibly in other places which could be affected by the product. At the same time, it keeps the ecosystem healthy and unharmed since it uses organic organic formulas which are not harmful for the ecosystem in the body of water that is being affected. So one of the key metrics of measuring how the solution would meet the need is to conduct experiments on how high the flood would get before and after the product was used in the sewage system. This way, the consumer would be able to compare how much of a difference the product mitigated from the flooding. And also, having a reference point would be a great start of a key metric if the product really did act as a solution or mitigation to meet the need of the consumer. So that's my value proposition. And my value proposition statement is somehow related to one of my group mates, where his problem is the river problem in located in Cebu City. And my value proposition statement is let the water flow and let the Mother Earth breathe.
Okay, so I agree that your value proposition statement is somehow related to mine. So my first top three targets, customer candidates, is the Filipino citizens, the Africans, and the Chinese, because based based on what I've researched, kay, East Asia and sub-Saharan Africa are some of the most producing countries of kanang waste. So if I want to put my product out, it would be on the Filipino citizen, since the problem is here in the Philippines. So that currently Philippines has have kanang an act which to improve the solid waste management, and this act is called the Public Act 9003, or the Ecological Waste Solid Waste Management Act. Although this act is present in the Philippines, um, the goal of converting all open dump sites into sanitary landfills and data show that there are still 400 403 open dump sites and 108 controlled dump sites. What this means is that our waste is still not managed properly. It's still vast. So my product is basically a composting machine where it is mobile and solar powered, because most composting machines are fixated in one location, like for example in a kitchen or in somewhere around the house where kind of waste is present. So my idea was to make it mobile so that it can be taken to different places and it can be used anytime. But it also has to be charged. Okay, so the customer pain points is that the composting machine would depend on how the customer manages the waste. So it won't function unless the customer puts waste in the composting machine. And if they're not dedicated in recycling and composting, then my product will not be used to them. However, there will also be instructions on how to use the product and what materials are needed or kanang supposed to be placed, because not all wastes can be turned into the compost. So opportunities of this machine is that although it is expensive, it can be introduced to business or kind of company owners that have whose endeavors lie in like kanang areas where waste is always present, like hotels, restaurants, canteens, or like hospitals. So people where there are many wastes, this product can be deployed there. So describe an anticipated use with solution. So if it is used in a specific area, then for example, it's placed in a local community, then people there can just basically put their wastes on inside the composting machine, and it will do the job and produce compost. And whenever it needs to be placed somewhere else, they can do that because my machine is my product can be transferred to different places, unlike the conventional composting machines where it's just placed inside the house, or kanang or just fixated in one location. So identify the key metric measuring how the solution meets the need. Okay, so the key metric of this product would lie on its ability to convert waste into usable fertilizer. Aside from that, the people who invest in the machine, although it is expensive, they can use that fertilizer and sell it to, for example, to gardeners or to farmers, and it will have many benefits. Like it will prevent soil erosion. It will give them a better substance to about kanang plant growth. It will give them better kanang chemicals to put on their plants, and most importantly, it will manage the wastes that that are always present around. Okay, so that is my value proposition, and I think I have one. I have a group mate who's somehow close to my who somehow close to mine, which is the Nathan Nathan Guerra. And lastly, my value proposition statement is there is no such thing as a way. Anything we throw must go somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. So my value proposition statement is about potholes. So potholes are maybe not maybe may not seem to be a major threat to the infrastructures. However, the damages will get worse over time. So my top 3 target customers are the North American government and citizens, British government and citizens, and the Philippine government, most especially the DPWH and its citizens. So as you noticed, I included the government and the citizens. First is roads and highways are owned by the government for everyone to use. Yeah, it will be best if the solution for the pothole problem will be directly proposed to the higher officials, since they mas dako sila chance nga maka-create og difference, so that they can also evaluate and take their time to decide. Yeah, these candidates were selected since they are experiencing these problems every year. In the North America and England, they experience winter and summer each year. This transition will play a huge factor in the pothole problems, since extreme hot or cold weather and the addition of everyday stress kanang due to the vehicles passing by, kay it will it will somehow lead to the cracking of the roads, and it will worsen then also in the Philippines. We may not be able to experience winter, but pothole problems are a huge problem here, since in every corner of the street, okay, there are potholes present. The candidate selected is the Philippines. Currently, the Philippines is flooded with potholes. Yeah, although there are road projects from the DPWH, I think it is still not enough to cover the whole problem here in the country, since avoiding these potholes can be next to impossible with the condition that most of our roads are in. My customer pain points include the budget, since it is always a problem where the higher ups are more likely to increase the budget for them to save it for themselves. Then next is the efficiency of the workforce. It is a pain point since workers here are also underpaid, resulting to a poor and substandard outcome of the project. Then lastly is the time to finish the project. So I consider this a pain point as well, since as observed, projects here in the Philippines will take few months due to be completed, and most of the time, uh, the quality of the outcome is bad, and this is also due to the inefficient workforce. So the opportunities include, when implementing this solution, the project will not only improve the roads here in the country, but it will also reduce accidents related to potholes or uneven and damaged roads. Also, the environmental effects will be lessened since potholes will also contribute to soil erosion. Then this will not only help the motorists but also all the Filipino people. Anticipated use case with solution. This solution is focused on strengthening the roads and reducing damage and to absorb the impacts. This will become a great benefit since everyone will everyone will benefit from this, and it will not only save lives but also speed up the transport of goods, reduce traffic, and lessen road repair costs each year. The key metric measuring of how this solution meets the end. So the success of this product will lie on its effectiveness. The actual application to the roads here in the Philippines will be the key to its will be the key, since it is where the product is truly tested and observed. The customer satisfaction will always be the goal of this whole process, and by that, massive improvements will be brought out to every city in our country. So the next speaker will be Domer Pelapil, since I think his proposition is somehow related to my proposition statement, which is potholes will always be present when leaders don't know how to make proper investment. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. And uh, as what Nathan said, uh, our value propositions are somehow related because I believe that those potholes are like caused by the sometimes the procrastination of our our leaders or the uh, people assigned in the office. So in my value proposition, uh, my my three target customer candidates are high school students, college students, and grad grad students. So the those who take masterals or PhD. And so as you can see, these candidates uh, are have a common ground. In this case, is uh, they are all under an academic institution. So the three of the customers are studying in school. Okay. So my my I select the candidate. Uh, I select the university student as my target candidate because I believe that we can relate about the candidate. So since we are university students as well, uh, we might have a tendency to procrastinate sometimes. So this procrastination appears to like postponing or delaying the academic work, and it also sometimes appear as you make a lot of excuses not to do the the academic task or responsibility. The academic procrastination is a word used in education and training to describe the delay in academic activity. So this word is uh, this this habit is sometimes unintentional, or it may be habitual. But whatever the whatever the cause of this procrastination, it all boils down to like have it all both of the causes have a substantial impact on the in the student learning and achievement. So the customer pain points are uh, there are a lot of causes of there yes there are a lot of causes of procrastination. uh, this includes procrastination due to like personal or family problems. So like you don't want to like you have no motivation to work because like you're thinking of your kanang family, like naunsa ba sila, or like, for example na ba yung fight within sa inyong family or nag-fight ng parents, then maybe affected ka. Then next is also ang the lack of interest of the subject, like which is pretty common. There like for example like mga if di ka ganahan sa subject, for example lang kalang mga minor kay medyo dili kay interested. And lastly is the kanang plain laziness, like lazy lang jud ka or ana. So these these pain points uh these pain points can be seen on the customer, but also the people around him, like napoy or indirect influences, such as the uh maybe the lack of guidance from teachers, like teachers don't discuss properly their topic or something like that. and and also like this discouragement from the teachers because like the teachers have a like negative comments about like negative comments sa student mga ana. So those are the customer pain points. And next is the opportunities. So the product will present opportunities to student that procrastinate and unable to manage their academics, and look ang mga students also na will look for kanang shortcuts or like mga unethical ways para lang jud mo like maka kanang yeah maka shortcut maka like easy way. Okay, like sometimes like wala na kay ganas, then mag easy way na lang ka or ana. Then yeah, so to describe the anticipated use, okay, the proposed product is to address the kind of procrastination problem through an application. So this product uh na siya yung mga features like kanang it may help in like to schedule the like your academic tasks. Then maybe napoy ka ng something na to motivate you or to motivate the student, and even kanang teaches you how to like study efficiently, like that. Then this also the software also makes use of like maybe music or something relaxing music because it is been like proven now, like it will help alleviate tension and or kanang anxiety sa kanang in working and it task. So it may help na mugana ka mugana ka to make your project or unsa. So it may improve your brain's ability to perform activities. So to identify that the product is uh, the product meets the need, the key metric used is the kwan to study the to study the academic performance of the student. So the utilization of the start and the submission of a set of online homework problems, okay, like it taken consideration for na the against kanang against academic performance jud like uh nabaroy kanang kanang correlation ang sa tawag gani ang kanang unsa ka late kan mo ni submit versus sa kanang imong score or ngana for example. So since uh, after all, so nakoy my value proposition statement is procrastination is the grave in which opportunity is buried. So like my product an application, the next speaker also kanang uses an application put. So
Thank you, Domer. And so, just like what Domer has said, my product is an application also. So, initially, the idea started with the current situation wherein people or like patients or the families of the patients have a hard time in accessing um, medical help or medical services during this time of pandemic. So that's where the idea came from. The smartphone application will was planned that allows the customer to search for or find for healthcare experts that can help in that can help and give virtual services in times of emergency, especially during these times. So this mobile application can benefit can benefit both the can benefit the families of the patients, the healthcare service providers, and especially the patients. So the key um, the key target customer of this application are the patients. This application can greatly benefit the patients. People seeking for healthcare services like the patients are struggling nowadays since healthcare services are very limited during these times like um, the hospitals kay naabot na sa limit and then clinics are closed. Some of the medical professionals are not not in work right now kay nasa house nila to um para to prevent said contamination with the virus. Thus, um, when there is an emergency, of course, the patients as well as the family members of the patients look for immediate first aid and medical assistance. However, it can't be done easily. So thus there is a need for an easier access to healthcare, especially now. So this app can give opportunity to the patients to avail healthcare services during emergency as well as periodic checkups without the risk of contamination with virus from traveling to hospitals and clinics. So whenever there is an emergency, seeking for healthcare professionals' attention is so hard. Thus, the consultation, first aid, and checkups will be done virtually using the application. So, in order to find out whether the needs of the customers are met, one way is whether there is a completion of the virtual session. So like if ever na finish budget ang whole thing, and also the most important or the key basehan is the number of customers. If increasing ba ang new customers or like sige ba ay na ba repeat customers as well as referrals, like example like new people are referred from the kaan, um, like current nga customers. So yeah, the number of customers can certainly measure whether the needs of the customers are met. And then this application assists in bridging the gap created by the pandemic between healthcare services and patients by developing an application that acts as a link between the two. That's all. Thank you.
So everyone is done sharing na.
Yes.
Yep. So,
Round table discussion na ta.
yes.
So, ano yung mga comments or like sa ato ang VPs?
Kaya tayo mga Carly.
So first, let's score sa each team member.
Okay.
I'll give everyone a 10
Huh?
because kanang even though like lahi tag problem bisag ma-relate ra siya to each other, mo kuan gyapon siya mo nang mo make mo sanay mohatag siya dako nga improvement sa not only sa ato ang country pero also to others and kana.
Also me, I would give everyone a 10. Okay, I think our propositions was well thought. Na like it would really, it's directed to the problem, and we just need to learn more about what we can do if ever it was to go out in public. So I give everyone a 10.
So, same sad ko. I'll give everyone a 10 just because the problems were not only centralized between our what we experience and kanang maka-relate po ng mga tao ba why they are experiencing that, and they can also benefit from what we are proposing sa ato ang mga products.
So, Kwan, I think everyone did a good job in presenting their value proposition. No? So, maybe, yes, same pod sa inyo, like 10 pod. Okay. Uh, okay, because ang mga problems mo na like you present to kay like timely and kanang relevant jud ba? Like for example, the kanang mga rivers, so like like ugaw man jud kay atong mga rivers, something ana like need jud siya i-solve, then lain pod kay kanang mga roads. So relevant kay pud sa ato kay like kanang gamit mo tag roads jud kailangan. So then napod kang Angelica na like about mga kanang sa mga patients, especially karang relevant kay siya na kay na pandemic ron. So yeah, I give everyone a 10. But
So just like everyone said, then also since like all of us or all of the proposed nga product kay very useful, not just sa katong the one who proposed, like for everyone jud. Yeah, dayon as early as now kayo makita na jud kung if the product will be kanang mupatok siya sa market, or like you can really see na not siya use since our products kay nag-start man siya from a problem that we have encountered. So give everyone a chance.
Okay, so ang next not to talk about is which of the general issue or problem mentioned in the propositions you can relate the most. I think this applies nga dili imuhang problem. Sa kanara mga problem nga gidiscuss. So ako, I can relate the most to Nathan's problem because I mean wala po ko'y motor pero I used to bike a lot around Cebu and naka-experience ko na nga problem especially sa kanang mga manholes and ang bike pa jud kay dili pa jud na siya bugat kayo so ma-outbalance kag dali kaysa sa kanang bugat ang imong gidala. And it's really a problem especially for para sa mga motorista diri sa Cebu. And it needs to be fixed as soon as possible. So yeah.
Okay, so for me, I think the proposition I can relate to the most is Domer Pilapes, because I think procrastination is very it's a problem that's always there as long as you have due dates, you have academics to pass. And I think although I can't relate with kind of Nathan's or Michael's, because our house, we don't have there's no problem in flooding, or I don't own a motorcycle. But what I can say, I also procrastinate sometimes. It depends if I have the energy to do the work, or sometimes I do or I don't. So that's it.
For my for me, ang the issue or problem na mention, I can relate most with domers since I'm always a procrastinator. I always do my activities last minute since I as what I have observed, I work well under pressure since ara na ako mo ara na ko maratol gamay, so I need to force myself to do my best to meet up to pass during before or during the deadline. Then procrastination is very common to all, most especially during online class. Ni samot karon online class, daghan na ni procrastinate kay lahi ra ang setting. Then mas comfy ka always sa imong house. Then daghan kay kag mga sanay mga si tawagan na yung mga
Distractions.
distractions. Daghan kay kag distractions and dali kay ka madala ana. So yes, kana procrastination.
Sa ako kay like pinaka-relate na ko kay kang Michael Herolaga kay like recently lang jud kay nagtuo sa amo ha. So like mo flood ang among sa may sala kay na yung leak sa may roof. Ambot lang wala pa dyan. We still don't know karang where's the leak pa. But yeah, like makarelate ko kay like in a way hassle kay siya. Kay like you have to map pa na. Then generally lang inconvenient lang siya. Kay like name wet something na now sometimes na more dangerous pa jud kay like for example na mo slide or ana. So that's all.
So ako kay I can relate to Domer also since kuan I can't relate to Carl kay so far wala ray giver there sa mo, and also wala ray problem with uh, like trash or nana. Then I can't relate sad kay Mike kay so far wala sa di kayo makaon og flooding since nagbabaw among house ya mo kuan ra pa ubos ra, like unlike sa kay Mike nga naa sila sa ubos. And then if you can relate kay Nathan, since sometimes ra ko mo go out sa house, like I'm not on the road always, so I can relate to Domer Jod since I'm a student niya also kuan sa procrastinator since kuan like ako Jod kay ako adjong i-prioritize akong health or akong basta akong mental health and ano. So whenever I have kuan free time kay ako like free time to do unta something kay ako ingon no dapat matubo karon ko pili mas stress, and that's why I'll end up nga mag-procrastinate ko because more ako I think nga dapat di ko mas stress karon, so I'll do that uh, na almost deadline para mawala na ako stress. So can relate to Dover.
So ang next kay we ask each member who exactly their target person, audience group of interest that the proposition should be addressed to. So I think this is related, this should be related sa ato ang value proposition na. And I think the answer ni sa ato ang first question. So in my value proposition, the target audience or group of interest for my product is mainly the Filipino residents. Kay again, the flooding here in the Philippines is very relevant and affecting most of the people, especially those residing in the squatters area. I mean, also it also helps the people outside the Philippines, but it's usually a best idea to handle people around you have access to instead of people you don't. So for me, the Filipino residents is my group of interest.
Okay, so for me, my target customer or the target person or audience is the Filipino citizens, since they are since the Philippines is ranks third in the most plastic waste generated each year. The of course coming is from China and second is Indonesia. So even though there are already policies that are directed to waste management, it will still depend on the citizens whether they will follow these policies or not. So I'm hoping that my product will um, basically give them a way or like a method to recycle their wastes aside from just throwing them in dump sites. So thank you.
So sa ako my selected candidate is the Philippines, specifically the DPWH, since they are the ones responsible for handling and repairing the public works and highways. Since na silang name. Also, sila ang sila ang kanang unsa na sila ang mag-implement sa kanang mga projects, labi nag sa yes kana sila ang responsible sa pag-handle sa budget, o pag-implement sa mga projects nga gipang propose sa mga people under nila and sa mga LGUs. So kana sila makig-cooperate na sila sa LGU sad para mutabang sad og kanang manage sa city or sa street nga ilang gibuhatan og project, like kanang mohandle sa traffic and unsa pa na.
In my like value proposition kay I chose the diba university students. So university students specifically tingali the kanang in the Philippines. So recently lang nalay news na kita kita na lang daw ang nag-online classes. So kuan kayo. So as what uh, Nathan have said na kanang if online classes kay murag mas prone to kanang procrastination kay like to yung gingon na murag comfortable imong area, so like murag mas ganahan ka na murag mas mag-chill or like not doing not doing your kanang assignment. So ano, so Philippine university students.
So, ako kay patience pero everyone can become patient when silver. So, I'll choose na lang siguro the more vulnerable ones like kanang comorbidities na sila kay kuan they are the ones nga mas hard jud sila mo go out kay like very like what I said very vulnerable sila, so mas it will be more dangerous if mo go out pa sila to seek for medical attention, so it's better if they stay at home na lang. So the vulnerable ones.
So our next is was there an idea that came up to solve the issue in that proposition? I think this can be answered individually, and I think general ang answer na to ani nga yes, there is the idea came up when the problem happened here in our places or what we experienced. So yeah, mo agree ra mo nga mo na ang answer if ang question kay was there an idea that came up to solve the issue in that proposition?
For me, in my experience, is a composting machine. It's already there. It's just that I wanted to think outside the box. I wanted to make it more kind of available for everyone. So yeah, there was already an idea, but I just wanted to improve that idea for mine.
For my proposition as well, kay there was already a product actually na it was a like a ball made out of a impact resistant nga ay kanang kusog mo absorb og kanang impact nga ball. Then they were testing it, then it was observed nga it can really absorb the impact and reduce the stress obtained by the object. So ang ako ara kay ni think outside the box sad ko. So I was thinking why not apply it to the roads, since it is a great it is a wide problem kay dili common siya to all nations, to every country. So muna, was there an idea? There is, pero not exactly my idea.
So sa ako apod kay naapod na yung mga apps na like for example yung mga time blocking apps or na yung mga apps na Pomodoro timer daw ana to kanang remind sa imo na like you have a task then you have to complete it ana. So medyo related sa akong product then. So yeah, na idea pero like ako alang kay I want to incorporate all the kanang mga features sa Line app into a single app. So more so yeah, auto siya.
So mine sad kay I think ko ano mo rin, ni adjust like before pa ko naka-think like ni adjust na daan ang kuan ang ano mga hospitals or mga doctors and ana, like if you have a doctor na existing na sa imong condition, kay you have their number naman to call ra whenever there's an emergency, pero the problem is if wala pa, so where can they have kuan, where can they contact, or where can they find. So yeah, there is an existing idea already, pero murag I made an extra mile para sa those nga they wala pa sila existing doctors or contacts, okay, they can have or like they can access.
So the next would be, can it be turned into something profitable? Can your value proposition be turned into something profitable, such as a product or service? If yes or no, explain your reasons. So I think in my case, the product can be used for into some can be turned into something profitable because for one, it's consumable. So once nga mahurot na ang product, the consumers are either eager to buy the same product over and over again just to mitigate the flooding problem, and it would be something that's affordable for the Filipino residents because not everyone is not everyone can gain access to what the product can provide. So it should be also accessible for people sa squatters area. So it should be kanang affordable.
Okay, so for my product, I think it will be profitable, but since it is a really advanced machine, it would need a high investment. So it, yes, it can be profitable, but I'm not sure if it fits the current kind of like economic setting of the Philippines. So that's something that I have to think about with my product.
So mine is yes, it can be turned into something profitable since it will be proposed to the government so that they will be the ones who will evaluate and decide whether or not to go with my solution. Uh, on the downside, the product will be needs to be uh, mass production gid siya dapat kay since i-apply man siya sa road, so meaning daghan kaya ang need nga kinahanglan sa akong product para makabuhat og kanang successful nga outcome.
So in my product, kay kuan pod like I think it depends on like where do you use it, like for or sa kanang sa akong value proposition kay nakabutang man dito na like for students, kay I think dili siguro kayo, but I think if ibutang siya in the context sa kanang more corporation or like in a company, I think profitable man tingali kay like what if like for example a manager wants to kanang wants ganahan siya na like productive yung mga constituents, like so in order to achieve that kay uh yeah siguro if lesson ang procrastination something sa kwan sa mga workers. So by that if tested na if kana efficient ba jud siya na product, then maybe other companies, maybe more companies will kanang purchase this product mga na.
So mine, kay I think yes man siguro, like after a whole like session or after the virtual or basta after like kanang rendering service to the patients, of course they give payments plan on the patients to the professional. So maybe at that kuan guro na ay example give percentage to the application that they use since dito man sila nag so maybe kuan like percentage sa payment made by the patients to the professionals.
So the next would be for open discussions. So I would just like to hear my group mates' thoughts of the products sa each other's products. So unsa ang ilang comment and all. So parang ako kay thumbs up because my group mates are very considerate enough to put themselves in the feet of kanang um people nga naglisod pud ba. So I would really commend my group mates of thinking outside the box and going for that extra mile and helping the people. So yeah.
Okay, so for me, I think everyone's proposition is very thoughtful, and I guess all of us we believe that our products can be turned into something profitable. So as long as we have that mindset, I think um, we we can we can develop an entrepreneurial mindset. That's all.
So similar with Kwan, same with Mike has said, uh, everyone shared a very nice proposition. Then it's for me, it's good jud no, ang makathink ta not only for ourselves but also for the betterment of everyone. Kay dili ra biya kita ang ang tao diri sa world, so kita sad ang youth, kita sad ang future sa atong country, sa world. So kita mismo ang magtinabangay jud. Then sa mga katong mga nagpropose og mga sanay nagpropose og mga solutions for the environment, kay it's very good sad kay aside from that nga mo protekta sa ato ang earth, kay nag think ahead sad ta para sa ato ang kanang young generation soon, nga naa pa sila ma ma-enjoy soon.
So, medyo same man siguro like more comments like parang like it's very good na na we we find solutions sa mga problems na na-encounter nato in life kanang and also kanang bonus na siguro na like if profitable ba or di, but I believe na kanang di kanang take lang like intention na help sa mga problems sa society, like for example sa personal pa lang, so sa procrastination or sa environmental or sa kanang uh sa yeah sa whole society kanang as a whole, so mo to siya.
Ako, I like the ideas presented sa kay if I'll encounter the problems that you have encountered kay maybe I wouldn't think nga the same sa solutions na inyong gi-provide. So from the discussion kay nakita ko another perspective on how to solve a certain problem.
So to wrap things up, I just like to conclude the discussion by voting para ninyo kinsa ang most convincing and who has the best performance in the value proposition. So my vote goes to my most convincing goes to goes to Carl because for me, Carl's product is very practical and it's open for more upgrades or more changes. And next, the best performance in the proposition for me is going to be for Nathan Guerra. Nathan really puts himself in the shoes, especially nga siya mismo naka-experience sa problem, so it makes you feel like you're in that problem, and it makes you feel like you're in that situation, and it's what makes it unique. So yes.
Okay, so for me, the most convincing proposition was Angelica Castro's because I think it's really thoughtful of her to think of a way to, it's basically like um like grab a doctor ba or grab a nurse, you know. Yan ang idea ba, like it's really thoughtful if for the patient. It makes things, if ano, I don't know if it's ever implemented, it can make things kanang smoother ang transition sa kanang mga schedule sa doctors or nurses. And the best performance for me, or something that I would use, is Domer Pelapio's proposition, because since I'm a student, I also want to have something that will help me in my academics. That's all.
So for me, the most convincing one is Angelica Castro, since karon we are in a pandemic and limited kaayo ang mga actions na ato mabuhat, since there are kanang certain rules applied by the IATF. Then ang mga most of our health workers are already giving up. Slowly they're giving up. So in this, her proposition will not only help the doctors na maka and other health workers na maka-earn gyapon og money bisag naglisod karon sa pandemic, but also help other patients nga nagneed og mga assistance. Then for me, the best performance in the proposition was Domer Pelapils, since like what Carl said, nga we are a student, where procrastination is a problem, a huge problem. Kay kanang it is like one of the pinaka pinakasamok nga problem gid, kay daghan kay buhatonon karon, then mag-procrastinate pa jud ka. So katong iyang gi-propose nga solution kay maka-help jud nako personally. So that's all.
If I have to decide no na which kanang performance na most convincing kay I'll choose ang ang Angelica. Like same pod og kanang explanation ni Carl and Nathan na it's kanang very relevant kanang especially kanang pandemic ron. Then uh naglisod ang mga doctors, mga health workers, and kita na pod as well sa kanang about saan pag kuan ba sa tawag ni ah like uh Angelica's proposition kay it will really help jud sa atong mga medical workers. So atong mga overwork na mga medical workers to like to find another or like extra source of income tingali or ana. Then the most kanang ang best performance pod kay same pod kang Angelica. So like for me lang kay like na move ko na like uh like na ang kwan ba like thoughtful ba na nag-care sila siya sa kanang mga sa both kanang mga medical workers nato sa mga patients nato. Then yeah.
So for me, the most convincing kay Carl's, although I can't relate kay, I found the kanang idea very useful niya. Yeah, nakakuan ko nga, true, true. It can help jud. Then next is best performance kay si Domer. Although like nakarelate na ko daan pero like the way he presented it and the way he presented the product kay like samot ko ka ako hello ganun ka like that. Thank you.
So that concludes our roundtable discussion for this meeting. Thank you, group mates, for attending this and completing our task.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
Thank
you.
you for today.
And good job.
Good job, everyone.